All right, I've got a lot to cover in this video. I'm going to do an overall general update. Going to talk to you a little bit about Tronbet. There are burns coming up. That's going to be awesome. Talk about 888 and what's going on. As you can see, I'm still mining over here like a champ. I think if you're already investing in this space, you're in Tronbet. I mean, I can't even comprehend, literally cannot comprehend why you would not be mining on 88 Tron. It is, I just simply don't understand it. But that's okay. And I mean, I don't mean any viewer watching this video. I'm saying if you're already in this space, if you're already investing in Tron dApps, or for that matter, any dApps, EOS dApps or whatever, unless you somehow are just opposed to Tron, or you're opposed to any business related to gambling, that's one thing. But if you believe investing in opportunities, then you already are a cryptocurrency investor. I'm not talking about someone who's new to the space. You already are a cryptocurrency investor, then I cannot even comprehend what's going on over here, why you would not be a part of it. We got paid out something crazy last night. Like, I mean, I can't even remember. I meant to do the math on it, and I frozen, unfrozen, and collected. Didn't even look at the numbers, but it was crazy. It's like, 7.5%, 8%, 9%, 10% in a day. 20, it was over 20% in 2 days, so it was over 10% a day. It was just ridiculous, I've never, it's unbelievable. So I'm over here collecting more tokens. I'm looking to get a lot more tokens. I want to get at least 3,000, then who knows, maybe 5,000, maybe 10,000. But here's what we're going to do today that's going to be interesting. I want to talk about some of you and some of the comments you've left on my videos. By the way, I use TubeBuddy. That's how I typically view my comments. I'll put TubeBuddy down in the link in the description. If you're a YouTuber and you want to use it, they have a free add-on, and they also have a paid version. I use the paid version, but it helps you grow your channel, etc., etc. Helps you manage your channel. We'll go to comments. Here we go. Because some of these comments, I think other people, some of them were just general comments, some of them were questions, but I think a lot of people may be thinking about this or have thought of it. Maybe they just haven't said anything yet. I'm going to be talking about Bankroll today as well. I'm going to be talking about P3T, some of the differences between the two that all the promoters aren't fully covering, or I don't even think they all realize, or is it very clear to them. So I think it's not shady, that's the wrong word, it's not shady, but there's definitely not enough clarity. It's said, but I think people assume the wrong thing. So I don't think the devs are trying to be shady at all. I just think that if you have experience with P3T, you can make assumptions about Bankroll that are not the same. All right, so here we go. This is Joe here. Joe's been having a hard time getting, he's got a lot of Tron. He's got it on Tron Skin. He doesn't know how to set up his Tron Link wallet. I misunderstood him in one of his comments. I thought he understood that part, but I've been trying to help him out. He told me to send him the video. Joe, if you go to YouTube, you can search how to install or how to set up Tron Link, and that would be the easiest thing to do. YouTube is your friend. Don't search it. Well, yeah, search it there on your screen. Okay. So Matt R said, "Yep, got to be quick because as more tokens are mined, the div shares go down. That 12% won't last long." And I think I think Matt is mining on 888, but a lot of people don't understand. Some people have said this to me, and it's almost been like, "Hey, this is risky. That 12% is not going to last long." Of course, the 12% is not going to last long. It ended up being more than that, by the way. But of course, it's not going to end up lasting long. But the reality is, you can use that 12% now to either pull back whatever you invest or to be able to invest in more tokens, which is a big part of what I'm doing. What I do when I do my big withdrawals, because I've never seen anything that's been able to earn a return in cryptocurrency like a predictable return of some degree. You can kind of see today what your payout, you can kind of start calculating what your payout is going to be in the next 2 days because it pays out every other day. And I've rarely seen anything. I've rarely seen anything like that pays out this well. So what I'm doing with my payouts is I'm putting some of it in Bankroll. I'm leaving some of it in Tron. I'm freezing some of it for energy in Tron. I'll do a video on that in the future. And I'm using some of it to mine, as you can see right here. I'm mining, and I've actually got some more. I've got some more Bitcoin, about 0.07 or so Bitcoin coming in. I'm going to be using that for mining, and put a little bit in Bankroll as well, probably. So stay tuned for that, because I'm gonna get me some more of these tokens for sure. Okay, let's keep going. I would like to risk. That's, by the way, that's his call. As you can see, me and Joe's been going back and forth. Okay. Try Wave Wallet. Don't know what the Wave Wallet is. Made a bet and it didn't start the game, but it took the Tron in my wallet. Has anyone experienced the same? This is not accurate. If the wallet, I mean, this is done on a smart contract, so it is impossible. I do believe that Mikhail saw Tron come out of his wallet and he didn't see anything happen with the game. Most likely that's just a UI or user interface. In other words, the website. The website can change or the website can lag, and the website has been lagging the past couple of days because they've just gotten so much more users. It did an update today. It looks like it's running smooth. It did an update this morning. That was supposed to take 15 minutes, and when you're like me trying to mine, it ended up taking like an hour, hour and a half. But it came back online and it's working fine. I told him to check TronScan. If it took the bet or the transaction out of the wallet, then there was a result in the smart contract, probably not in your favor at the time, because if the bet had went in his favor, they would have given him the bet back plus his winnings. The website is just a pretty way to see what is happening in the contract. The contract runs independent of the website. It's why the website sometimes moves faster than your wallet. The website was acting laggy for me yesterday. Currently, it is in an update. Hopefully, it comes back soon and is running smoother, and it is running smoother. So whatever you see happen on the interface is not always 100% in line with what's happening with your wallet, but most of the time it works and works fine with no problems. Hi, how can I contact you in business? You can contact me in business, although I don't know who you are with a Japanese name. You can contact me in business by just letting me know you want to know my Discord name, and I'll give you that. Here's what I can tell you. I don't promote anything that's outright dishonest. That's just the bottom line. It better be obvious and transparent what's going on. Okay, I really don't want to pick back up gambling, but this looks profitable. Okay, this is important. I've had people say, but this is gambling, this is gambling. Listen, when you're mining, it is not gambling. Okay, let me just stop this. Hopefully it doesn't lag anything. So it's important to understand. Let me pull up a calculator here. When you're mining, it currently, you got to wager 870 Tron, and that goes up every 2 days. Next time it's going to be 880, so that's why I've been mining like crazy. So it's going to be 880, which means the price is going to go up a little bit. So here's how you calculate the price that you're paying. You may think to yourself, if I got to wager 870 Tron, that means I don't have to pay. No, you don't pay 870. You wager, which means you might win. You might wager one bet, 870. Bam, you win it, and you're going to get, what, 1,700 Tron. But just for wagering it, you're going to get one token. Now, the reason they say you wager it and not lose is because the house has an edge. The edge is about 3%. Let me show you what that means. The real odds of they give you a win percent of 96.15%. But they pay you out at a rate of about 93%. The house has a 3% edge. 3% edge. So you need to understand that. Or I may be saying that wrong. You might actually have a 99% chance of winning. But they have a 3% edge, so they only give you a 96%. No, that wouldn't work. They're going to pay you out 93%. But even though you had a 96% chance of winning. If you would have gotten paid out 96.15%, then there would have been no edge. That's how casinos make their money. They know mathematically if you make enough bets, you're going to lose 96% of the time. You're going to lose 96% of the time. But when you win, they're only going to pay you out 93% of your winnings. It's why if you come here in the middle, watch. Explain it better. You got a 50-50% chance of winning, but you don't double. Do you see that? You don't double. In fact, that's a 3.5% wager right there. A 3.5% loss. You don't, and that's probably the house edge, 3.5%. So you're not, even though it's 50-50, if you wager 100 and you win, you don't get 200. You get 196.5. That little percentage is the house edge, which means they know over time you may have win streaks and you might have really bad losing streaks, but over time they're going to get roughly 3.5% of everything that you bet over enough bets. And we're talking about over the course of thousands. This is why you can go to the casino for a night, and heck, I've been to a casino 2 or 3 nights in a row and been up a big winner. It's just because you've been winning. You've been on, instead of winning 50% of the time, you've been winning 60% of the time. But if you win enough bets, you're not going to always win 60% of the time. There's a mathematical calculation of how often this thing is going to be above an 8 of clubs. It's going to be 50% of the time. So if you're winning 60% of the time, you're just running above expectation. It's when people say they have good luck. Or if you're winning below, if you're only winning 40% of the time and you're losing a lot, then people say they have bad luck. You're just running below the mathematical expectation. But after thousands and maybe even tens of thousands of bets, it's going to work itself out. So people say they're gambling. You're not gambling. If I'm sitting here and I'm flipping cards and I'm increasing and decreasing my bets, and I've done a video about that. If I was doing that, that's gambling. When you come here and you know that I'm going to pay 50. If I win, I got a 96% chance of winning. I'm going to get 50.18. If I lose, I'm going to lose my 50. Then that 3%, 3.5% edge, whatever, we can do some math. Where are we at? Dividends? Oh, this is ante, sorry. We can do some math and figure out 870 times 3.5. Sorry, that wasn't right, 3.5%. I did that wrong. 870 times 3.5% equals. So right now, divided, sorry, 870 divided by 3.5%. 170 times. There we go. So right now, at 3.5%, I'm going to pay roughly 30.45 Tron at 3.5%. And when it goes up, it's going to be 30.8. So if the house edge is 3.5%, and I think that's what it is, if the house edge is 3.5%, then you're going to pay that over after every 870 Tron you wager, over thousands and tens of thousands of bets, the house is going to be profiting 3.5% of that. So they're going to be profiting 30.45 Tron over thousands of bets. That's why you should bet small and bet often. Just let it run for, I let it run for hours at a time mining, because you don't want to pay more than you have to. So at that's what you're paying. This is mining. You know what your expected price is mathematically. You know what it is. You're playing the same game the casino is playing, except you're getting tokens. And you're doing it as fast as you can because you know that token price is going to go up in the next stage. And so that's why I mine tokens. I'm not sitting here playing games. I have, not so much here, but I've made videos where I was doing it on Tronbet. But I just let it run. And you can tell who's mining right here. When you see a lot of aces and twos, when you see a lot of twos and threes, and some aces, because some people just do it the other way. But when you see the twos and threes, most people are mining. If they got a 3 in there, they're trying to gamble a little bit. They're just trying to get lucky and win a little bit. When you see the lines, that means they're over here playing slots. They're absolutely gambling. They're not mining. That is the biggest difference. Mining is you're wagering on autopilot with an expected outcome. That's the goal. I can already tell you that, 30.45, this isn't enough Tron. If this was 10,000 Tron, I would feel relatively confident saying, if it was 100,000 Tron, I'd feel really confident. But if it was 100,000 Tron, I'd feel very confident telling you that I'm going to get about 3,200 tokens if I had 100,000 Tron. That's, and you were doing small bets over, a long enough period of time. That's the difference in mining and gambling. That's important. Okay. Let's keep going. Great video. Thanks for the help. Not a gambler. Okay. Hey man, great content. All I'd like to do is you have done and maximize my return and passive earnings potential. I have quite a lot of Tron locked up with Tron Scan. What would you suggest would be the best course of action to achieve the most gain? So far, I'm only mining on 888 at $50 bets. My TRX and Tron I will freeze to gain energy once it is able to be unfrozen. Okay. I don't have anything. I mean, make your own decisions, make your own calls. I mean, I'm on 888. I like 888. So does the mining stop at 3 million when it hits the exchange, or at 100 million when the supply runs out? It wasn't clear on the white paper. Yeah, the white paper is not clear at all. Mining stops on 888 when they get 100 million tokens. We just crossed 3.2 million. And which also means, I'm not in the Telegram group, but if you look on Telegram, they should be talking about going to an exchange soon. They should talk about trading the token on an exchange soon. That's another thing. I just watched a video earlier where somebody said, man, when that token hits an exchange, it's going to go for hundreds. Just do the math. Just do the math. Okay. I thought, wow, he's just not paid any attention. This is crypto. This isn't a traditional investment. He would be right if he was talking about an investment in the stock market. It's important to understand in the stock market, I mean, the average dividend stock is paying somewhere between 2% and 3%. The average higher dividend stock is paying between 2% and 3% a year. There are 6% stocks, but this is what's called real estate investment trust and stuff like that. It's different. Most stocks are going to be paying 2 and 3% a year. A year. So if you put it in that perspective, yes, you're probably right. But there's historically the best price to look at. I was going to show you the interest rates, but I'm not even going to show you that again. I've showed the interest rates a gazillion times. I'm not going to show it again right now. Here's what I can tell you. If it costs 35 tokens to mine, I mean, if it costs 35 Tron to mine, or 36 Tron, or 40 Tron, or 50 Tron, the price on the exchange is going to be somewhere around the price that it costs to mine. Because if it goes too high, people, not everyone, but a lot of the buyers at some point are going to start mining if they really want it bad enough, because they don't want to pay. The only reason people go to an exchange and pay, this is the anti. The only reason people come here and pay 32 is because right now you could come here, I think it's about, I haven't done the math, I think it's 35 Tron or so to mine on anti right now. So you could come here if you wanted to get it for 32, but sometimes you'll see this go as high as 36, 37, 38. Why in the world would people come here and buy it if they could mine it cheaper? Saves time. Just come here to buy it. Convenience. But if it goes too high, just like it has done in the past, you'll see that on Tronbet, which is where the anti token's at over here. You'll see that mining will go through the roof. And you'll get like 20,000 Tron in a day if the token price goes too high. It's supply and demand. Supply and demand. So, to the poor gentleman who I saw who said, this thing could go for hundreds. Maybe one day it could be worth hundreds, especially if it shows to be a sustainable business model paying a really good profit. But when it hits an exchange, it's going to be around within a few dollars of whatever it costs to earn it when you're mining. And if it's any higher or lower than that, then people will buy or sell until it gets pretty close to that price. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. All right. So he said, oh, wow, even if the divs go down to 1%, we're good. I've mined over 400. I'm thinking it does Tronbet numbers. That could be better than P3T and Bankroll, but I'm still going hard in both. Yeah, P3T and Bankroll have to end by their very nature. They will not go on forever. They will end within the next few weeks, maybe a few months, but they're going to end. P3T and Tronbet, what people don't realize is they're real businesses. So people right now on Tron, right here, the dividends are high because a lot of people are mining. They're basically mining, like I just showed you, calculate in a calculated way to earn tokens. Well, a sizable percentage of those, or all of those tokens they're buying, the 35 Tron tokens for every 870 wagers, or whatever I showed you earlier, 30.45 Tron that you end up paying to the house goes in available dividends, and that dividends gets distributed among all the token holders. Well, right now there's a bunch of people mining, and because they're mining, the dividends are high because it's early. They want to get as many as they can early for as cheap as they can because the price keeps going up. So everybody's mining like crazy right now. That's why the dividends are high. But if you come over here to Tronbet, if you look at these dividends, you're like, oh, that's not nearly as good. 844 tokens, you're only getting 48 Tron. Yeah, but these are all gamblers. The miners right now are all on 888. This means yesterday, I did the math, we got paid 0.34%, I think, 0.34%. Just so you know, to all the people who are like, yeah, but if you're on 888, it doesn't matter because those dividends are going to shrink. I don't give a damn. Do you hear me? At 0.3%, I will ride that pony for as long as it rides, literally. Watch this. Okay, so here we go. 0.3, we'll just say 0.3%. 0.3% times 365. That means you would earn 109% a year if it maintains 0.3%. The average investment isn't even right now returning, on Wall Street, it's not even returning 10% a year. You're talking about getting 109%. 109%. There's nothing returning 109%. And the fact that you can invest into a business that's going to pay basically stakeholders, which is what Ante is, 109% a year, even if it drops, I've said this before, 0.1% times 365. That's 36% a year. Warren Buffett, the greatest investor the world has ever seen in the history of mankind in the area of Wall Street investing, only averages 19% a year. You're talking about invest into a business that as long as there are players playing, it's going to earn 0.1% a year. And I always tell you don't follow my advice because you might lose money just like I've lost money. But here's what I can tell you. The only reason Ante or Tronbet doesn't produce a 0.1% a year is either because Tron falls out of favor, so far out of favor that nobody wants to use Tron anymore. But there's not one cryptocurrency that is as good as Tron is in the DApp space as far as the speed of transactions. Not one. Not one. It's fast, it works, it's reliable. And you can do microtransactions, and it doesn't cost a lot to do them. So it makes it feasible. If they come out with Tron Live, Tron Slots, Tron Poker, game over. Tronbet's going nowhere. If 888 comes out with Roulette, Baccarat, Blackjack, Flip Flop, to the Moon Poker, game over. They're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. I will be here for as long as they're here. And if there's another multi-game casino that comes onto the scene, and it looks like it's getting a following, and they let me mine their token or buy their token or own their token, I'm going to own it. No questions asked. No questions asked. It just blows my mind at some of the questions I get in this space. Like, clearly, it's scary because they really don't need to be investing in cryptocurrency. If you don't understand that a 10%, 20%, 30% return in quote-unquote investing is a good return, then you just haven't done any investing. And the idea that you're trying to invest in a very risky asset like cryptocurrency, hopefully you're just doing like 50 or 100 bucks and you're planning to potentially burn it, because that's what's going to happen if you're not careful. You've got to be careful in this space. All right, so let's keep going. He was right, by the way. Wow, even if divs go down to 1%, we're good. I've mined over 400. Yep, he's right. I said I've been a traditional dividend investor for much of my life in the stock market. If I get a 3% annual dividend, that's good. So if I get a crypto biz to give me 0.1% per day, that would be a 30% annual dividend, 10% higher than what I can get in most places in the stock market. 0.1% per day, that would be incredible for a long-term sustainable business. We're getting almost 15% divs paid out tomorrow. That is freaking insanity. Practically none of us have ever received that before. Meaning, practically no one in the world, there very rarely have I ever, I don't think there's ever been a chance for the average investor to get a 7.5% return in a day over a 2-day period. And it looks like the rate we're going today, we're going to be very similar, over 5% it looks like in the next 2 days. And by the way, this 3% annual return is not paid out daily or every other day. You're talking about quarterly, in some cases monthly, depending on the stock. Typically it's quarterly or annually. And you're talking about being able to get paid out daily or every other day. It is insanity that more people don't recognize what this is. He says, that's what I'm saying. My div stocks can't compare. Plus, when the stock market price drops, you lose. So why not try these divs? I'm excited. I'm going to set up all night mining. And I was thinking about throwing it in the bankroll, but I think I'm going to take those divs and reinvest. Yeah, definitely mining. Bankroll is a short-term game that's going to end. But yeah, triple A towards that. I get it. Bankroll has to end eventually. Yep. 88 Tron will end only with poor business management. And that's what it comes down to. Poor business management. If whoever's running, the owners or the directors or whoever's behind 888 Tron or Tronbet, if they mismanage the businesses, they don't develop, or another competitor comes onto the market, that's the only thing that's going to put them out of business ultimately. I don't think people are going to stop gambling, that's for sure. They never have. All right. He said the payout, yes, but miners got to stay to feed the div pool. Like 2 weeks ago, div pool average was less than 1 million, so be careful. Again, I think I just said this. I don't care. First of all, 2 weeks ago, we're only at 3 million tokens. 2 weeks ago, 888, their token was totally brand new. So that's one thing. Second of all, who cares if it drops to a few million? I mean, depending on the size of the player pool is what really matters. You know, if it drops down to a few million, as long as the player pool continues to grow or at least maintain, we're good. I've seen days that we got, you know, 2, 3, 4% on ante. Now we're getting 0.2%, 0.3%. I'm good with that. You can't get that anywhere. All right. You do realize that this won't last forever, like the high-paying divs, because just a couple months ago, 888 wasn't doing, notice how people say the same thing, wasn't doing that good. So you can collect all the 888 tokens right now, then a couple months from now, divs might be shit. So your best bet is to not be greedy. Well, I guess that's always the best bet, is not to be greedy. But who cares? I mean, it doesn't, he said, listen, this is insanity right now, but a couple months from now, divs might be shit. Well, if divs are paying out 5% or more a day, who cares what they do in a couple of months? In 20 days, you've gotten your entire investment back. Everything else is gravy. Yesterday I put out like 3, 4 videos. It's because I was so excited when I saw something was going to pay out 7.5%. And to be honest with you, I was just mystified. Like, how are people not seeing this? Like, it just blows my mind how they were missing it. And I think people are still going to miss it, but that's totally okay because I'm going to keep collecting. You want to look for businesses that allow you to earn a return. I mean, this is crazy, crazy exciting stuff. Like, it is so exciting. And it's okay that people are missing it because it gives me a chance. If more people were mining, I wouldn't be able to mine as much, meaning that more people would get tokens and they would, you know, go up faster. So I am okay that I'm not going to probably put out 3 or 4 videos in one day again talking about it because I'm going to keep over here mining and I'm going to keep feeding my wallet, Tron, just keep mining as much as I can. For as long as I can. I actually had it up to 100. I had it up to 70, then I had it up to 100 last night because I was just trying to mine as fast as I could before this morning. Sorry, I can't help but look. 21. Keep going, baby. We're going to be at 1,500 soon, and then the next goal is 3,000. Okay. How much you lost? I don't know what this is about. I didn't lose anything. What are you talking about? I haven't lost anything. See, the moment someone sees that there's cards and it's a gambling app or whatever, they think you're losing. When 888 tokens unfreeze, do we get to keep them? Yes, you can keep the tokens. There actually is a way to pull them off the blockchain. Don't know how to do that. Don't care to. When you unfreeze them, they're your tokens. There's no way to go on an exchange right now, and that's what some people complain about. Some people are like, but look, it's not on an exchange. And I'm going to stop with the comments right there. It's not on an exchange. Yeah, it's not on an exchange. You're exactly right. So what happens if there's no divs? You know, we're screwed. No. We'll see what they do. They got over 3 million mined. When they cross over 3 million, they're supposed to be looking at putting it on an exchange. So we'll wait and see what happens and if it goes on an exchange. And if it doesn't go on an exchange at all, if they get to 4 or 5 million and it's still not on an exchange, then, you know, even a decentralized exchange, then I would probably start to be a little more concerned. But the returns are so high, again, it doesn't matter. People are not going to stop gambling. So I'm going to be able to pull out what I've got in there. If I can sell on an exchange, then I'm way ahead of the game. I mean, I'm going to so far ahead of the game. But see, a lot of people are like, I want to wait and see if it goes in an exchange. Not me. I know it's risky, but I'm like, let me get in quick and fast now. Let me earn now. Let me get the tokens while they're cheap. Because this is the exact roadmap that Tronbet took. Tronbet, you can buy their token, which is anti-token, on TronTrade, which is a decentralized exchange. But Tronbet did not start out with their anti-token. They did not start out with their anti-token on TronTrade. They started out the same thing. It stayed here. You couldn't pull it off here initially. And then as they got up and going, they've got 62 million anti-mined. So they've gone a long ways. But even at 62 million anti, even at 62 million, the dividends are still 0.3% yesterday. That's amazing. Amazing. All right. So that's that. I want to cover some of the comments I've gotten because I'm certain other people may have the same comments. By the way, there's links in the descriptions for 888 and Tronbet. But listen, if this stuff, don't let the high returns lure you in if you don't have some idea what you're doing in this space. Like literally, last thing we want is more people losing money because they don't know. If you take on a risk and you recognize the risk and you're okay with taking on the risk and you know that it's a risk, then that's cool. That's totally cool. That's your call. I want to talk about P3T and I want to talk about Bankroll right now. So these things, these are what I call withdrawal contracts. And all that means is it's basically a transparent Ponzi, which means that they don't make any qualms about what they're doing. Everybody puts money in, and then you're able to get the money back. Whatever you put in, you start earning 3.3% of it until you get it all back. But then you keep earning 3.3% as long as there's more money in the contract. So where does the more money come from? The more money in the contract comes from all the people that still haven't got their initial investment back. There's no money being created here. At the end of the day, it's about all the money going in, and in the beginning, only a little bit of money starts coming out. You can look at Bankroll. People are like, oh, Bankroll's already up to 11 million. That is impressive, but there's only 235,000 drawn out. That's why it's so big. If everybody's withdrawing money right now, it wouldn't be. So sometimes people are like, man, it's at 11 million. That's going to last forever. No, it's not going to last forever. It's going to end in about 40, 45 days, probably 30 to 40 days, because they've got the treasury and all that stuff in here. It's going to end soon if nobody put in one more dime. And I want to clarify that. I just saw a video a while ago. Somebody said, I want to do the math and prove this to you. Daily ROI. Now he said 34 million. There's no way that can end like that. By my recollection, that's going 4 or 5 months. He believes what he's saying when he said it. I mean, you could hear the conviction in his voice, but it's not accurate. He said, if nobody puts anything in, this is going to go on for 4 or 5 months. It's so huge. That is not accurate. It pays out 3.33% a day. So if today nobody put one more dollar in, yes, I do believe it could go on further. There's not even $1 million USD in here. Do I think people can keep putting in money? Yes. But don't be under delusion that it goes on somehow indefinitely. If nobody put any more money in here, you would get paid out. We have let's just say 35 million. Let's keep it clear. 35 million. It pays out 3% a day. Okay? Times 3.33%. So it pays out 1 million a day, 1.1 million a day. I probably don't have to do the math for you, but you probably can see if you multiply what 1.1 million payout a day, because that's 3% of 34 million, 34.96 million. So it's going to go on just over 30 days. There's not even going to be a full distribution or a full payout to everybody on the 31st day. No matter how big the pot gets, it pays out 3.3% a day. By design, the moment everybody stops putting anything in, it starts draining. So you know that going into it. So it's a bit of a game. You try to be in first, and you hope it's a solid contract without some dev that's trying to steal money and take off with the wallets. You get in first, you just withdraw your money, and you're good to go. And you can see there's already a lot of zeros, but there's 1,100 Tron someone just put in. When you see the zeros, people are withdrawing. You don't know how much they were withdrawing. They could be withdrawing, 10 Tron, 1,000 Tron, 3,000 Tron. People are still putting in 1,000 Tron. But the goal is to put in and just start withdrawing. That's how you do it. 200 Tron. I mean, people are still putting in for sure. We're talking about in the past few minutes. 3,400 Tron, 444 Tron, 440, 500. Look at this, 245,000 Tron somebody put in. And he or she will probably get it out as long as they start. The way you do these is you go in as big as you can, and you don't keep reinvesting for too long. You just start pulling out as soon as you can. Now I wanted to show you something here. This is important because this is going to come to Bankroll. I want to show you if I add 11, if I invest 11 into that 1435, it should go up, right, to 14,396. Let's see what happens. 14,396. That's what it did. Okay. So this is interesting difference between P3T and Bankroll. Bankroll is going to go big. Everybody's talking about it. I've talked about it. I got links to both P3T and Bankroll in the description down below. But do your own risk. They're going to end. Now P3T is pretty straightforward as well. But what people don't understand is this right here. The Bankroll project is a social experiment on Tron blockchain to implement a voluntary, sustainable, always be careful for that word, and permissionless universal basic income. Distribution means when you pay in $100, $2.50 go to development and referrals. Basically 1.25 to the main developer. He gets 1.25 of everything, which he created the website in the contract, so what? 1.25 to the referral. 12.5% goes to the treasury in the contract, and 85% credit to the depository beneficiary. So donations go directly to the treasury. What that's saying is when you put in 1,000, only 850 goes here. If you were to deposit 1,000 Tron, you'd only get 850 right here. Just like this, I referred someone 1,000 Tron, they turned around and referred me by 1,000 Tron. So that was kind of cool. But you can see he put in 1,000 Tron, I got 850. So now that's fine, but this is the other part. Notice how I did a reinvestment on P3T? I invested this over here. When you do a reinvestment on Bankroll, which is called roll right here, it rolls this and rolls all, oh, I got a referral. Thanks, whoever that is. When you roll this, it just rolls it all the way up here, and it subtracts all of this, 2.5%, 12.5%, and 2.5%. So when every single time you reinvest, you only get 85% of your reinvestment going in. That's important to understand. That's a fundamental difference in P3T, where when you reinvest, to my knowledge, it all goes in. Like I think when I made my first investment of 10,000, I think it all went in. I'm not saying whether that should or should not come out, but it's worth being aware of. Every single time you do a reinvestment, you're losing 12%. Or you're losing, I guess you're technically losing 25%. So it's just worth being aware of every single reinvest. So the more you reinvest, the more you're churning, the more you're losing on what you're trying to gain. So the single best method, and I'm not telling you whether it's good or bad, I'm just telling you something that I just realized. I saw it in the comments on someone else's YouTube video. So it's worth realizing that, again, the best way to play, if you're going to play this, know it all ends in roughly 30 days, 3.33%, if everybody stops putting money in. No matter how much is in there, if everybody stops in roughly 30 days, it'll go on a little bit further because they got the 12% goes to a treasury that helps keep it quote unquote sustainable, which all that means is it'll last 12% longer than 30 days. If everybody stopped putting money in, it will last 12% longer than 30 days. That's important that you understand that, because you hear people say this is sustainable, this is going to go on forever, this is just going to go to the moon, I think we're going to 10x our money on this. Well, maybe not, but if you 10x your money, keep in mind it's a zero-sum game. When you win, it's economy. You can't get away from it. Everybody will not be winners. If you 10x your money, that means all the 10x of your money came from other people who didn't get their money back. That's the bottom line. It's a game, and you need to understand that. Like I thought this was very clear, but the more YouTubers I see talking, it's either intentional ignorance. In most cases, I think they're not even realizing what they're saying. Like they're just not even realizing. And I say that because I've had one or two YouTubers say, you said this on your video. What did you mean by that? Why is that, for example, why is it not sustainable? Why? So there's this talk, okay, someone's going to tell you, that wealth, he doesn't know what he's talking about. There's a game coming. There's dice. They can put that over here. Okay, I don't care what game they attach to it. Eventually, the number of people withdrawing will outgrow every revenue source going in. There's no revenue. Keep in mind that you put in 1,000 Tron. You're not going to be able to withdraw 3% of 1,000 Tron for the next 30 years. At some point, there's far too many people sitting on the sidelines just withdrawing. So it doesn't matter. They can put a game in here, and that will help it for a little while. But then eventually it's still going to all be gone. And the reason the developer would put a game in here is because it will be another profit center for him or her. So that's important. And by the way, if you ever want proof that socialism doesn't work, just come down here and look. This is donated to the treasury. If you feel so good about this project and you want other people to have a shot at getting your money without you getting much, if any of it back, they got this cute little thing down here. You can put in how much Tron you want to donate. You can click donate. It'll come right over here to the total donated. But you can see nobody cares about donating to a game that is just a game, there's winners and losers, and no one wants to donate to a game with a chance of losing. How do you know that? Well, because there's 11 million Tron in here that people are waiting to withdraw, and they put a paltry 7,000 over here. I don't even know what that is. That's like 0.001% maybe. I don't know. It may be even worse than that. They put a small 7,000 Tron over here, which is fine. It's fine that this was implemented. I saw someone say, this makes his heart feel good. I don't know what makes your heart feel good about it. I mean, that's not generous, 7,000. And by the way, I'm not putting even one Tron in here. I think it would be crazy to do that personally. This is a game. There's 1,000 people playing the game. Play this game at your own risk, but just know it's all about getting your money in, getting your money out, and then keep withdrawing for as long as you can. I'm gonna put in some more today. I want to get it to about $25,000 Tron, and then I'm just gonna withdraw it. If it ends before 30 days, if all of you stop putting in money today, because I am gonna put some more money in the next 2, 3, 4 days. If all of you stop today, guess what? If you all stop today, but I keep putting money in, then in 30 days I would be the net loser. You all will probably get at least some of you, if not all of you, will get your money back. So that's how the game works. I hope you understand the mechanics. That's how they both work. But this has that 12% feature. I just want to comment on this well status thing. This is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard. For most people, 141,000 Tron is a well. I mean, that's the truth. I think it started out really low, like 0, but it went up fast because the contract went up fast. People say, you know, a well can drain. A well doesn't really drain. What they're saying is wells will come in, they're calling a well someone who comes in big. If someone comes in really big, they put in, for example, 1 million Tron, 2 million Tron, and they don't put any more in, they just withdraw, 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 withdraw. And that's all they do. And they don't ever add anything, they just withdraw, withdraw, withdraw. Then all the other smaller fish are trying to put money in and compound. But the whale with 2 million in one deposit, he's pulling money out. That's what they're calling a whale. That's what they're calling. But the problem is when you see the quote unquote YouTube whales talking about whales, that's a red flag. The reality is if someone's in here putting 141 Tron in, then 141,000 Tron in, then by most people's standards, that's the whale anyway.